So our topic for today, I'll be discussing Open Run, the GPP hardware and open systems, the Open Run ecosystem, and deployment trials, and lastly, our key learning points. Okay. I'll make it quick na lang din, no? If para ma-concise natin yung yung itong mga lessons for this morning. Okay? So we do have challenge in terms of how do we deploy our network. So ito yung mga key challenges ng telco operators. Okay? One is the faster time to market. Okay? When we say the faster time to market, it is when we roll out our network infrastructure. Okay? Traditionally, okay, sequential siya. So may phases based on you design it, okay, engineer it, install, you integrate it to the core, you test it, and then syempre meron pang acceptance from the vendor to the telco operator. Okay. So many of these phases have been to a large extent manual and labor intensive. Okay? So ano to yan eh, you need to source out for the site, okay? Saan ko according to my network planning, saan ko dapat ilalagay yung cell site ko, how much will the coverage, ano yung saan ko ipapalin yung antenna and all. Okay? And then I have to source out legally dun syempre sa pagtatayuan, may mga concerns on the residents, or syempre sometimes we need to lease yung sa lugar, okay? And then after we have planted it, di ba? How will you connect it to your core, yung link up sites mo, okay? And then you perform testings around it, yung mga drive tests, and how will that cell site perform. Okay? So very labor intensive. Okay, so let me share you my experience. Okay, in Sun Cellular before. Okay, well, nag-aaral pa ako, that is 2001. But Sun Cellular soft launched in 2001. Okay, but they only started operating 2003. Okay. So within those span of years, doon pa lang sila nag-start to set up some coverage. And alam naman natin, they only started within Metro Manila. Okay. If syempre with the network operator na papasok dun sa heavily dominated na market by Globe and Smart. Okay. Kailangan nilang habulin yung coverage. Eh, paano ka makapagbigay ng service kung ang coverage mo is only within the metro? Okay? So aggressive yung naging yung ginawa ng company, di ba? From Metro Manila, we started doing the network expansions or rollouts sa North Luzon projects, South Luzon project, and then also the Vismin projects. Okay? But imagine, nag-start yan 2001, di ba? Okay? And then Sun Cellular and Smart merged in 2011. Okay? Noong 2011, actually, the coverage back then, hindi pa talaga fully covered yung buong Philippines. So if you look at it that way, from 2001 to 2011, that is 10 years, di ba? We are still doing or planting cell sites to provide coverage. Okay? So ang haba. For 10 years, hindi mo pa rin covered yung buong bansa. Okay? So let me share you the story of Rakuten. For Rakuten, in 2020 or in April of 2020, okay, they launched as a mobile network operator. Okay? And in only 5 months, okay, in September 2020, they were able to operate na. Ganun kabilis. Okay? So kung titingnan natin, traditional, from 2001, 2003, so that is around 2 years or so. Okay? And then yung coverage pa lang niya is within the metro pa lang. But for Rakuten in 2020, within 5 months, operating na sila. Okay? And in 2 years' time, they already have 50,000 base stations na covering the whole of Japan. Okay? Ganun kabilis yung time to market. Okay? Ganun kabilis yung how they were able to roll out such 5G sites or 4G sites pala at that time. Okay? So, and they said they can fire up a 5G site only in 5 minutes. Okay? So, yan yung premise ng Open RAN. Okay? So, what's their secret? Yeah, what's their secret? It's the cloud native virtual network functions. Okay? So, later on, as we go along with this topic, malalaman natin what's that? Okay? Paano nila na-implement yan? Okay. For better performance, in traditional network, we have optimization team. Meron kami noon access network operation team. So they perform drive tests to gather statistics on the cell site coverage, kamusta yung handover, yung congestion ng cell site, how is our calls being dropped, and how successful is our call setup. So mini-measure lahat yun. Upload and download speeds, okay, to tune the network on the best optimized state. Okay. Pero ang tanong doon is, how soon can we get the results? Diba? Sabi nga natin, sa traditional network, very manual, very labor intensive. Okay? Kasi pumunta mo talaga yung site. You go around it, you perform drive test, walk test, and okay? And then balik ka sa office, analyze mo siya, how can I tune this properly? And then hindi mo pwedeng basta-basta babaguhin yung parameters. Okay? You go through a change management. Yeah. Okay? So, but for the better performance, yung better coverage or enhanced quality of service natin, that is one challenge easily solved by Open RAN. Why? It has the RIC, okay? The Random Intelligent Access Network Intelligent Controller. Yeah. Okay? And thirdly is yung cost. Yan. Okay? So, around 60 to 70% ng TCO or the total cost of ownership ng operator falls under the RAN, okay, the radio access network. Okay, so andyan yung capex natin in terms of our procurement ng mga radio units, mga base station units natin, installations and all. Okay, and then for our OPEX, okay, babayaran naman natin yung power. Okay, we need to have funding for the maintenance and lease, syempre. Okay, so with Open RAN, it can lower down our capex and OPEX. Okay, and also yung energy consumption and yung sustainability. Yan, okay. When we say or when we talk about sustainability, this is how the company is gearing towards a more environment-friendly solutions. Okay? And it is solved by cloudification. All right. So when we roll out our compute power, okay, using cloud, ang laki ng reduction sa cost. Why? Hindi ka na nagme-maintain ng hindi ka na nagme-maintain ng server mo eh. You are already running it through the cloud. Eh, ang laki ng ang laki ng uh, cost reduction. Okay? So for our current or traditional na run natin, ito yung setup niya, no? So ang cell site natin, we have a 5G antenna. Okay? Or andyan din yung 2G, 3G, or 4G antennas natin. Okay? So yung dito sa figure natin, the 5G antenna, it already has its radio component kasama niya na. So that's an active antenna na. Okay? And for the 2G, 3G, and 4G, yung radio component niya is nandito sa lower part uh, ng tower. Okay? So it's a passive setup naman siya. Okay? And it goes down or connected to the baseband unit via the CP, right? Or the common public radio interface. Okay? And sa baseband unit natin, it is a single run baseband unit that nandun yung digital signal processing natin for the 5G, 4G, and 3G, 2G network. Okay? And all of this is supplied by a single vendor. Okay? So for a traditional run, yung 5G antenna mo, yung 2G, 3G, 4G antenna mo, or yung radio unit mo, yung baseband unit mo, okay, they are all supplied by a single vendor. Okay? You are not enabled. Okay? So the operator cannot mix and match it with a different vendor. Okay? So hindi pwede na yung antenna ko kukunin ko kay Huawei tapos kakabit ko sa radio ni Ericsson and then gagamit ako ng BBU ni Nokia. It's not possible. Okay? Because that technologies are proprietary. Okay? When we say proprietary, okay, may sariling hardware implementation yung vendor. Okay, ganito ang itsura ng BBU ko. Okay? Hindi ko siya, yung software ko is proprietary. Hindi mo siya pwedeng integrate sa ibang devices. Okay? So, what happened back then is ang operator, okay, lock in ako sa vendor ko. So sino ba yung top vendors for the traditional RAN? That is Huawei, Ericsson, Nokia, ZTE, and Samsung. So ibig sabihin, if I'm going to purchase, okay, my equipment, so dito lang ako mamimili and hindi ko pwede silang i-mix and match. Okay. So hindi rin pwede na, okay, I am covering Metro Manila. Sa isang cell site ko is Huawei, sa kabilang cell site ko is Ericsson. No. Okay. Magiging regional na siya. Okay. Example for us, sa Sun Cellular before, okay, ang Metro Manila and North Luzon or South Luzon namin, puro Huawei equipment yan. From the RAN, okay, from the radio access network down to the core, okay, hanggang doon sa MSC, sa mobile switching center, Huawei yan. Okay, lahat yan sinupay ni Huawei. And then for our setup naman sa Vismin, okay, naka-Ericsson naman kami. So ganun din, from the radio side down to the core side, okay, Ericsson naman yung vendor namin. Okay. So anong reason for that? One, isa lang yung kakausap mo. When you want to deploy or you want to have a faster deployment back then, okay, kausap ko na si vendor na ganito, meron silang parts for this. Sige, mas madali ko siyang ma-ship, mas madali ko siyang ma-integrate. Diba? Naghahabol kami ng coverage eh. Okay? And si vendor na ito, ito yung pricing niya for us. Okay? But you are locked in with that vendor. Ibig sabihin, yung maintenance mo or saan mo kukunin yung replacement parts, sa kanila lang din. Okay? Kung may problem ka in terms of their software, hindi mo matotroubleshoot yun. Sa kanila mo lang din makakahingi ng uh, assistance on troubleshooting or investigation. Okay? And hindi ka uh, mabilis makakapag-expand. Okay? One more thing with that setup, since vendor locked in ka, okay, dependent ka doon sa supply ng vendor, and pwede kasi mangyari na okay, yung area ko for this, ito na yung issue ng components ko, and I need to replace it. Sabihin ng vendor, ay, ano na yan, out of EOL na yan sa amin, end of life na yan. You need to purchase another upgrade. Okay? So, no choice ka. If you want to maintain that coverage, okay, if you want to maintain your service, okay, lock in ka dun sa vendor na yun, and hindi ka pwede mag-source out ng ibang parts sa labas, but you need to comply dun sa upgrade na sinasabi ng vendor mo. Okay? So, yun yung problem with the traditional run na single vendor setup siya. All are proprietary. Kahit yung monitoring system mo, ito yung system ko for monitoring ng mga cell sites ko, and yung transport system ko, yan. Okay? Lahat yan proprietary siya. Okay? So, with the principle of Open Run is we disaggregate yung run. Okay? We disaggregate the radio access network. Okay? Instead of having one monolithic baseband unit, okay? In IT, okay, we call it microservices. Okay? For example, dati meron kami isang server. Isang server lang siya, tapos nandun na yung database niya, nandun yung provisioning system namin, nandun yung for reporting, nandun din siya tumatakbo, yung reporting application nandun din. Nasa isang server siya. Okay? And then kami sa operations, kasi namin, ang bagal mag-respond ng ng server na to. Okay? Mag-login ka pa lang, yung login prompt, ang tagal lumabas. So, sa monolithic na setup, it's hard to investigate na saan nangyayari yung bottleneck, or bakit mabagal siya masyado? Is it because of the network? Is it because of the capacity niya? Mababa na ba masyado, or overutilized ba siya? Or anong components niya sa loob yung nagko-cause ng delay? Okay? And as we progress dun sa investigation, ang nalaman namin, it was because merong nag-extract lang ng report na sobrang laki. Okay? So dahil doon sa extraction niya ng report, okay, yung mismong service ng server na yon to do the provisioning na-hamper. Okay? So in IT, to solve that, you do microservices, the microservice architecture. When we say microservice architecture, hihiwalayin natin into separate service. Okay? Yung monolithic na architecture na yun, hihiwalayin natin. Okay? So I'll have another server for the database, I'll have another server for the application, and I'll have another server for the reporting. Okay? or in that way, okay, hindi ma-hamper yung provisioning ko with someone from the marketing unit na gusto lang kumuha pala ng reports. Okay? So for the Open Run, okay, when we say Open Run, it disaggregates the run. Okay, so disaggregation is the splitting of the system into smaller subsystems. Okay, and it disaggregates actually yung hardware and software pa. Yan. So when we say we disaggregate the hardware and software, okay, hindi na we are not already tied in dun sa proprietary system ni vendor. Okay? So, if we look at it that way, diba, yung traditional run natin in a black box, okay, it can be breakdown into systems of RIC. Meron tayong DARAN, Intelligent Controller. Okay? Meron tayong CU and DU, and it's connected to the or the radio unit natin. Okay? So what does open mean dun sa Open Run? Okay, it means we open or we are using open source software. Okay, hindi na tayo lock in dun sa software ni vendor. Okay, before kasi let's say si Huawei may sarili siyang software to process or to implement yung mga baseband functions natin, okay? Or some other vendors may sarili silang software for it, and then you cannot use it for other hardwares. Okay? But when we say open, we use open source software. Open source software, you can source it anywhere, and then it will work on a different sets of hardware. Okay, and also we open the hardware part. So hindi na tayo tied up doon sa equipment nung proprietary vendor. Okay? So we can now use the commercial off-the-shelf servers. Okay? Sabihin, okay, yung baseband unit ko na ganitong klase ng rack siya, okay? If I'm following an Open Run setup, okay, I can just purchase servers coming from HP, from Intel, from Dell, from IBM, okay, and I can place it dun sa rack ko and use open source software, and it should work. Okay, and also thirdly, when we say open yung interfaces natin. Okay, okay. So Open RAN means open radio access network. So when we say Open RAN, it is an industry movement, okay, that develops this disaggregated and interoperable radio access network solutions. So when we say interoperable, again, I can source out a radio unit from a radio supplier, okay, and I can use open source hardwares to connect to it down to our core network. Okay. I can also use open source softwares available sa market, and it should be able to provide me the network functions na kayang gawin ng proprietary softwares. Okay. So that is the concept of Open RAN as an industry movement to disaggregate the RAN, the radio access network. So interoperable na tayo. We are not tied up for a single vendor, but those vendors who could provide us an open system, okay, we can integrate it to our network. Okay, so we leverage the general purpose processors or hardwares, okay, software-defined technologies, and open interfaces based on industry standard. Okay, so this is just some clarification of what is the difference between Open Space Run, the Open Run, and the O-Run. Okay? So, minsan, we might encounter these terms when it's the broad term to describe the disaggregated run solutions. Okay? Ito mismo yung Open Space Run, that is the concept of opening the run. Okay? And the Open Run, okay? The Open Run, it refers to the concept project ni TIP or the Telecom Infra Project. Okay, it's a concept ni TIP to define a vendor neutral disaggregation of run for both hardware and software. Okay, so it's pioneered by TIP, and who is TIP? Telecom Infra Project, that is a project spearheaded by Meta or Facebook. Okay, and they look into solutions of which 2G, 3G, 4G networks can be disaggregated. So, pwede ako mag-mix and match ng hardware and open source softwares ko for those technologies. Okay? The O-RAN naman, lastly, it refers to the O-RAN Alliance. Okay? The O-RAN Alliance is an operator-funded founded organization that defines the standards for the NG-RAN architecture and interfaces. Okay, so if we have a 3GPP providing the specifications, okay, si ORAN naman or si ORAN Alliance, they are the ones who establish yung standards how to implement yung openness. Okay, so what are the benefits, no, if we open the RAN? Okay, so we have a diverse vendors ecosystem. So we are not anymore tied up dun sa 5 traditional vendors natin. Okay, syempre if law of supply and demand, okay, if we have more suppliers, we should expect more competitive environment between them. And also, as shared niya kanina, no, with the example of Rakuten, Open RAN could provide us fast network deployment, faster rollouts, okay? Easy access to third-party software developers, yes, because hindi na tayo gumagamit ng proprietary softwares. Okay? We have automation. Why? Meron na tayong RIC, the RAN Intelligent Controller. Okay? And also, ma-leverage natin this new technology of AI, okay, and machine learning in terms of optimizing our network and providing a better QoS. Lower total cost of ownership, as I shared then earlier, okay? It's because we have lesser components to maintain. Yeah. So we have the RU white box, and we have the COTS server. Mas mura na rin siya kasi it's already those servers hindi siya proprietary. Ibig sabihin, if I'm not locked into with a vendor, okay, I can already have that server in the common market, okay, available sa market. Kasi hindi ko siya hindi pa namin masusuplayan kasi wala kaming stock niyan. Hintayin pa namin from the mainland para ma-deliver. Okay? So it's not that anymore. Okay? And also with when we talk about CI/CD, it's term sa IT na continuous integration, continuous deployment. Ibig sabihin, for those optimizations or applications na gusto nating ipasok, diba? Mas mabilis. Okay? It's because meron na tayong orchestration from our cloud down to our CU and DU. Okay. So reduce time to market and time to deployment, reduce equipment and maintenance cost. Right. So what are the Open Run drivers naman? What will push network operator to go into Open Run? Okay. The growing network demand. Okay. When we say growing network demand, mas dumarami ang ano natin, ang subscribers natin. Okay, in terms also of their consumptions, no? Okay. Also, ito, this one is a new technology also for the telco to perform or to deploy network virtualizations. Ibig sabihin ng network virtualizations, yung functions ng network devices ko before, okay, they can already be implemented in a software-defined way. Okay. And also, with the emergence of AI, machine learning, and big data, what we can know in kumbaga, you don't need a longer time to study on the market projections, ano ang need ng customers ko, okay? Because you already have big data. Okay? Nasa-source out muna siya agad from your run. Okay? You have the intelligence or you have the big data to analyze and perform such optimizations, and also what services yung kailangan ng customers ko, or what 5G use cases yung pwede kong i-provide sa kanila. Okay? And also, part ng driver ng Open Run is we achieve the 5G use cases. So ano yung 5G use cases? Again, it's the enhanced mobile broadband. Okay? The network, right, should be able to deliver up to 20 gigabytes per second peak data rates and 100 megabits per second average data rate. Second is our ultra reliable low latency communications na in 1 millisecond na latency. And also the massive machine type communications naman, that is we should be able to connect 1 million IoT devices in a square kilometer. Okay? So yan yung promise ng Open RAN. Okay. And what are the challenges naman din? Okay? So hindi rin naman because we present these are the benefits of Open RAN, no? Okay? Siyempre, there are still questions or hesitations. Bakit ako mag-move into that kind of setup? Okay? Me as an operator, what are my challenges? Okay? So network performance. So ang one contention with disaggregation, no, okay, sasabihin ng traditional vendor, hindi mo kayang i-match yung performance ng device ko. Okay? You are using a general purpose hardware. Yung sa akin, this is purposely built to provide such function. Okay? Yun ang isang let's say constraint, no? But actually, when the Open RAN Alliance provides Plugfests. Okay, so they perform lab trials, live deployments, okay, and they have demonstrated actually that yung proof of concept, okay, it is able to achieve yung 5G use cases. Okay? So, hindi rin natin masasabi na ay pag proprietary hardware ako, mas ano talaga, mas highly advanced siya or what. Hindi rin. Okay? Because as per trials and live demonstrations, okay, Open RAN setup can match it. Right? Fault management, sabihin ng traditional vendor, we have our own monitoring system for it. Alam namin kung saang part may problema. Okay? Because if you are disaggregating the network, di ba? Iba-iba yung ano mo iba-iba yung you break it up, di ba? You have a system for your OCU, you have a system for your ODU, okay? You have a system for your rig. Okay? So ang sabihin nila, how would you manage the maintenance and fault management nun? Okay? But again, on Open RAN, we are using open source softwares. Okay? And open source softwares actually can help us, okay, have a more visibility din. Okay? In a way na we have the mano or the management and orchestration part ng Open RAN, which solves this fault management. Okay? So if the traditional vendor is saying no, hindi mo maano, how can you protect something that you are not visible with, diba? Okay? But with Open RAN, okay, hindi rin nila masasabi na gano'n. Because okay, you have the management and orchestration applications, open source siya, which you could use to manage your Open RAN environment. Okay? Thirdly is automation. Okay? Paano mo i-implement yung automation yan? Magkakaiba yan. So, okay. Again, di ba? This actually is the let's say baliktad, no? Mas magagawa mo nga yung automation in Open RAN. Okay? Because especially if you are maximizing yung cloud, okay? Ang bilis ng rollout, ang bilis ng auto-scaling. Okay? If you need to have a more compute power, okay? Sa traditional setup, kulang na ako ng capacity ng ganito. Okay, mag-request tayo ng additional capacity, ipapa-approve natin sa finance, and then let's wait for the order to come in, ship siya, and then ipa-plug in mo yung module to extend your capacity. Okay. Or need natin ng additional license, okay, bibili tayo ng license kay vendor, ipa-plug in yung license na yan, okay, to maximize yung hardware natin. Okay. But with Open RAN, okay, yung problems on auto-scaling, okay, it's automatic. Okay. Sabihin, when the system sees na kailangan ko ng more compute power to provide baseband functions, okay? Yung cloud, it can already provide or it can already provision compute power depending on the capacity needed ng system. Ganun siya kabilis. Okay? So kung i-compare natin siya sa traditional setup, no, it would take some months bago ko magawa yung expansion. But with OpenRun, the auto scaling actually works in seconds. Ganun siya kabilis mag-up down ng resources if we are maximizing yung cloud environment. Okay? Isa pang challenge ng operator is understanding the OpenRun ecosystem. Okay? Kanino ko kukunin yung parts ko? Paano ko i-integrate yung mga yan? Okay? Whereas kung meron akong single vendor, okay, siya lang kausap ko and then siya na bahala mag-source out sa akin lahat. Then siya na mag-build and then the turnover sa akin for acceptance. Okay? And this is one of the biggest enhancement in sa OpenRun, no, is it will provide us, or this is answered by the system integrators. Okay, so when we need help on deploying the OpenRun environment, okay, we have specialists for it, yung mga system integrators. Okay. And also, you'll be needing a new team profile. Kasi before, if or sa dating setup ng telco, no, I have my RAN engineers, I have my core engineers, kumbaga properly scope yung kanilang roles, okay? But with OpenRun, no, we have, or kailangan ko ba ng additional manpower for security? Kailangan ko ba ng additional resources for the integration? Okay, so yun yung challenge ng network operator. I need to build a new team profile, a new skill set, okay, to manage or to deploy OpenRun setup. Okay. All right, I'm going to the second part ng discussion natin. It's about the GPP hardware. Okay, the GPP hardware, or the general purpose hardware, it's one of the key ways to disaggregate the network. We are now using a low-cost radio access network white box hardware. When we say white box, it refers to computer hardware such as servers or network equipments that is assembled using off-the-shelf components. Okay, when we say off-the-shelf components, one readily available sa market. Okay, so it is based on ORAN specified open front haul interface. Commonly, it supports the split option 7.2, 7.2. Okay, split option 6, split option 8. Okay, these are considered on future studies. Okay, it carries out open ODU software protocols and realizes open source and openness of hardware and software. Okay, it helps realize also yung virtualization. Okay, yung mga network functions natin, they are already deployed or using virtualized network functions. Okay, using codification and orchestration. So ito yung example niya, no, of those white box hardware for our radio units. These are open radio units. We can use it with other open DUs. Okay, or this open RUs can be connected to the front haul gateway, okay, and then connected to our DU. Okay? So this is an example ng OD ng front hole gateway setup. Okay? For on your right, okay, it's the outdoor setup. We have multiple RUs situated and they are connected dun sa front hole gateway. And down to its bago pumasok dun sa 5G core natin, no, it's still connected to another front hole gateway that is connected with other RUs pa. Okay. In local area setup, okay, or let's say for our residential setup, no, we have RUs situated, or this could be RU situated dun sa mga houses, no? And these are connected dun sa front hole gateway going to the BBU. Okay. For the indoor setup, yun, we have our indoor sites, or the RUs natin indoor, and they are connected to the front hole gateway and then going to the 5G core network. So that is the front hole gateway. Multiple RUs are connected, okay, before going to our BBUs. Okay. So we have density centric deployment, one on your left. Okay. Ang setup niya dito is one front hole gateway per cell, and ang cell natin has 8 radio units at the maximum. Okay. And ang setup niya is we have multiple front hole gateways connecting to the BBU. Okay. And on the middle is the coverage centric deployment. Okay. We have cascaded front hole gateways naman. Sabihin, when we say cascaded front hole gateways, it has it works in a primary and secondary setup. Okay. And ang maximum number of radio units that can be connected are 16. Then it connects those 16 RUs to the BBU, the baseband unit natin. Okay. And when we say GPP hardware, no, that is the general purpose commercial off-the-shelf servers that is available in market. Ngayon, in terms of the software, ayan, open source din yung software natin. One provider is the SRS Run. So SRS Run is a free and open source 4G and 5G software radio suite. Okay. Sabihin, it can provide us a full stack UE. So meron siyang you can simulate mobile equipment with that. Okay. They can provide a full stack 4G eNodeB with 5G non-standalone or standalone GNodeB capabilities for your radio, and SRS EPC naman for your core network, a lightweight 4G enhanced packet core implementation with MME, HSS, and SP gateway. Okay, so this is available sa srslte.com. Okay, so you can download it and use it as your open source application for eNodeB and EPCs. Okay. Also, for the open air interface, nag-provide din sila ng software stack, no? Okay. For the implementation ng non-standalone, okay, GNodeB and standalone GNodeB. Okay. Yung non-standalone implementation nila is you have an eNodeB and a GNodeB. Okay. And ang primary node where your mobile unit will connect is dun sa eNodeB. And if it sense na meron kang 5G capable and coverage, it shifts your connection to the GNodeB. Okay? So that is your non-standalone setup. And for the standalone setup naman, okay, your run is running on a G-Node B platform connected to the 5G core mo, the AMF and UPF. Okay. So this 5G software stack is available at openairinterface.org. Okay. And of course, in terms of our radio units, no, we have the USRP, or the Universal Software Radio Peripherals, for our software-defined radios. Okay. These peripherals are available sa etus.com. If you need USRP X series, network series, embedded series, bus series, or you need cables, accessories, antennas, okay, widely available na siya. Ibig sabihin, you are not constrained na ay sa isang vendor lang ako kailangang maghanap. Okay? So with Open RAN, okay, mas malaki, or you have a greater number of suppliers for you, right? So this is an sample ng Open RAN solution. No? We have an ORUs, okay, and connected to our radio units, connected to our junction box, and then the junction box is connected via the optical cable going to our this is medyo malabo. Okay, going to our OCU and ODU. Okay, implemented using cloud. All right, and our OCU or the ODU na naka-set up in Edge Cloud, okay, it's connected through the backhaul going to our data center, kung saan naka-host naman yung rig natin, or our non-real-time rig. Okay. This is a setup if the operator wants to manage the cloud by themselves. Okay. Ako yung mag-set up ng virtualization ko. Okay. I need to set up my Edge Cloud, and I need to set up my cloud sa sarili kong data center. What if I want to leverage yung public cloud? Okay, this is an example of RAN solution, the AWS. Okay, ibig sabihin, lahat ng components ko for my virtualization, for my cloudification, sinakay ko na lahat sa public cloud. Wala na akong i-maintain na server or anything. Okay, so my ODU, it's running on AWS EKS. It's a microservice. Pwede siyang naka-locate sa cell site or local data center, running on AWS Outpost. Okay, and my CU and DU, it's running on my Edge data center. Okay, naka-ano din siya, AWS Outpost din siya. When we say AWS Outpost, it's deployment ni AWS na i-host ko yung mga platforms na needed mo on my machine sa iyong data center. Siya. Okay, so sa AWS lahat magmamanage siya ng. Okay, ang babayaran na lang natin is the compute power na kailangan natin for that specific functions. Okay, and going to our non-real-time rigs. Okay, we are already harnessing yung cloud native functions in terms of the AI, machine learning, the big data. Okay, nandun na siya sa AWS region naman. Okay, so this is an example ng public cloud deployment ng Open RAN in which lahat ng components natin, yung hindi ko na problema yung GPP hardware, hindi ko na problema yung open source software kasi all of them are managed na ng cloud provider. So in terms of paano yung security ko? Well, that is the risk transferred to the cloud provider. Okay? Paano yung disaster recovery ko? Okay? That is the risk transferred to the cloud provider. Ibig sabihin, if there's anything that would happen dun uh, sa underlying systems or backend systems niyan, it's managed by the cloud provider. Okay? Kaya ganito rin pala kabilis yung kaya ganito rin pala kabilis yung deployment because they, again, as I say, when we harness the cloud, okay, ang bilis ng auto-scaling niya. If we need more compute power, sige, pa-provide kita. If you need less compute power, if you need to reduce your power consumption, ibababa niya rin. Okay? And you only pay for what you use. Okay? Yun ang tawag ito, yun ang market ni public cloud. You only pay for what you use. Okay? Okay, we are now going to our third part of the discussion, the Open RAN ecosystem. I think I'm going to be more faster on my discussion. No? It's already 11. Sorry for extending. Okay lang po ba? Sorry, I'm not worried of the time.
Siguro Sir JP for after nito yung deployment na tayo.
Yes.
Deployment.
Okay. For our Ecoran Open RAN ecosystem po, no? Okay. So we have these groups, the Telecom Infra Project that is spearheaded by Meta. Okay. We have also the ORAN Alliance and the other key Open RAN groups, the ORAN Software Community, the Small Cell Forum, and the Open RAN Policy Coalition. Okay. So as we review, no, this is the evolution ng hardware and software disaggregation. So in 1965, we say there is a Moore's law na every 2 years magdodoble yung number of transistors dun sa chip. Okay. So in 1980s, the cost of compute power to the consumer falls kasi instead of having mainframes, okay, andun na yung mga x86 platforms natin. Okay, so hindi lang tayo, kumbaga, mas available na sa market all those general purpose hardware. Okay, in 1990s we have the open source Linux or the enterprise open source softwares naman, okay? And also in terms of the hardware, yung mga switches natin is nagkaroon na ng standardization in terms of our network devices. In 2000s, diyan pumasok sila VMware, nagkaroon na tayo ng cloud computing and virtualization. Okay? In 2004, those network functions, let's say yung mga instead na meron akong device doing the firewall, meron akong device doing the router, meron akong device doing the switching. Okay, it is implemented using or via a software-defined network. Okay, so example of it is yung Arista, a Linux-based software-defined network. And 2018, okay, the RAN hardware gets standardized. Okay. So TIP is one of the first two industry groups heading the Open RAN initiative. It is founded by Meta. Okay. Ang purpose nila actually is to disaggregate the network, not only focused sa 5G but for 2G, 3G, and 4G. Okay, na they source out vendors to have interoperability. Okay, so the Open Run project group is initiated to define and build 2G, 3G, and 4G RAN solutions based on the general purpose vendor neutral hardware. Okay. Our guys, who is ORAN Alliance naman? As shared earlier, no? ORAN, okay, Alliance, it is operator founded group naman siya. Okay, ibig sabihin, it started with the CRAN. Okay, CRAN Alliance is a group in China. Sila China Mobile and other Chinese vendors. It also merged with the XRAN. XRAN naman is a group of Japan and US vendors, okay, who are looking on opening the RAN. Okay, so these two groups, CRAN and XRAN, merged, founding the ORAN Alliance. Okay, so the operators dito, it's AT&T, China Mobile, Dutch Telecom, NTT Docomo, and Orange. Okay. So ang high level goals of ORAN, firstly is openness. Okay, because they are looking for or they are stepping out from the vendor proprietary solutions. Okay, and since they are looking for openness, they are looking for open source reference designs. Okay, and second goal of the alliance is to have an automation dun sa network. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'll be I'll be rushing this parts now. So si Oran Alliance, okay, they set up the technical working groups depending doon sa Oran architecture natin. Okay, so when we say the Oran architecture, we have the MANO, the orchestration and automation. We have the near real-time rig. Okay, we have the CU and DU, and then the ORU. So based dito sa architecture na to, they set up working groups who need to work closely on those implementations. Okay. I move this. Okay. So we have the working group 1. Okay. Let me use a pointer. Yeah. The working group 1, they are focused on the use cases and the overall architecture. Okay. Working group 2 is focusing on the non-real-time rig and AI and A1 interface. Okay. The working group 3 focused on the near real-time rig and E2 interface. The working group 4 is they focus on the open front hole interface dito, okay, between DU and the AY. Okay. The working group 5, okay, they focus on the open F1, W1, E1, X2, XN interfaces. Okay. Working group 6 focused on virtualization and the cloud. Okay. Working group 7 focused on the white box hardware in terms of the reference designs of the decoupled software and hardware platform. The working group 8, okay, they focus naman dun sa stack reference. When we say stack, okay, that's the run functions for the OCU and ODU. Okay. Working group 9 focuses on the open XCall transport. Okay. Consisting of transport equipment, physical media, okay, and the protocols. Working group 10 is the group focusing on operations and maintenance of the architecture. Okay. And also of the O1 interface specifications. And not shown here is the working group 11, which focuses on security naman. Okay. So these are the technical working groups ni O1 Alliance, and you can research more of what uh, they have conducted na studies or white papers sa O1 Alliance na website. Okay? So O1 Alliance, ito yung mga members niya, no, mga operator members niya. And also actually hindi lang naman siya operators, pati mga vendors kasama rin. Okay? So anong difference ni TIP with O1 Alliance? TIP, they promote or enforces vendor neutral equipment, okay, one to another. They focused mainly for baliktad ako sorry. Si TIP, yan, okay, si TIP. TIP is more concerned with the deployment and execution, okay, of the vendor neutral hardware and software. Okay. So they focused on solutions for all type of network, 2G to 5G. Okay. For O-RAN, they developed the standard if it doesn't exist. And as we say nga, no, yung specifications ni 3G, sila yung gagawa ng standard for it, for the vendors who want to participate on Open RAN. Okay. And then they only focus mainly on 5G and 4G solutions. Okay. We also have the O-RAN software community, okay, for the open source softwares that is needed to deploy Open RAN. So it is managed mainly by the Linux Foundation. Okay. And they are looking on this virtualizations of the LF Networking Fund, Deep Learning Foundations, and then for the open source projects, they have the OpenMV, ONAP, Aphimos AI, Angel ML, ORAN SE, and these are other development projects pa nila. Okay. So other key Open RAN groups. Okay. We have the Open Networking Foundation, operator driven din siya. Okay. And they foster on innovations on software defined programmable networks. Okay. We also have the Small Cell Forum. Small Cell Forum, they have emphasis naman on small cells implementation. Okay. And we also have the Open RAN Policy Coalition for the collection of the supported policies in terms of the adoption of openness and interoperable solutions of the RAN. Okay. Right. For the deployment scenarios, no, we have scenarios for coverage extension, new deployments in urban, suburban, okay, in rural coverage, support of private and neutral host networks, and also with the system replacements and upgrades. Okay. So yung mga deployment trials na yan, these are the operators that have demonstrated the Open RAN. In USA, we have AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. In China, ayan, we have the China Unicom, China Telecom, China Mobile. Etisalat in UAE. Okay. Germany, we have Dutch Telecom, Dish also. Okay. Sa USA, Vodafone, Telefonica, and in Japan, it's Rakuten, yung pioneering natin for Open RAN. And also with Philippines, hindi rin tayo papatalo, no? For the Philippines, Smart was able to demonstrate their Open RAN deployment this January. Okay. So these are the vendors naman who very much involved with Open RAN. That is Parallel Wireless, Mavenir, Vodafone. Okay. In South America, yun, mas medyo mas widely used si Parallel Wireless, and for EU, ayan, we have Xilinx, Wave Mobile, Icatera. Okay. So in terms of the vendor ecosystem in the quadrant 1, okay, in quadrant 1, ito yung mga pure players ng Open RAN. Sabihin, they provide solutions for the GPP hardware and software. Okay. On the quadrant 2 is our traditional vendors naman. But again, these traditional vendors, they also are playing with Open RAN. Sabihin, they also provide Open RAN solutions. Okay? Pwedeng buong setup Open RAN solution ni let's say Nokia. Ayan siya. And you can mix and match it with Mavenir, NEC, ganun siya. Okay? On quadrant 3 are the integrators. When we say integrators, these are the specialists who will help the network operator deploy such integrations. Si Tech Mahindra, Amdocs, Radisys, yan din sa Accenture. Yeah. Okay. And on the quadrant 4, these are the chipset vendors naman. Okay. We have NVIDIA, Qualcomm, and also cloud vendor if we want to pursue on public cloud deployment. Nandiyan si Google Cloud and si AWS. Right? But still, hindi ito yung hindi ito yung kumbaga hindi sila limited sa ganitong vendors. This is the most common ba. Okay? Okay, so these are just some comparison between the vendors, no? We have the new players, sila Mavenir, Parallel, Wireless, Ultrastar, and yung traditional natin, which also are vendors din ng Open RAN, except Huawei, di ba? We have Nokia, Ericsson, Samsung, and ZTE. Okay? And these are what the newcomers can provide. They provide end-to-end portfolio mobile network, virtual network functions, or cloud network, cloud native functions. Okay? They can provide all mobile radio generations and classes for radio centralized, virtualized Open RAN controllers. Yeah. They can provide Open RAN software. Okay. In terms of the traditional vendors, si Ericsson, Huawei, and ZTE, okay, they do not have yet an Open RAN element sa portfolio nila, but si Ericsson and ZTE, they contribute dun especially sa mga trials, deployments ng Open RAN with O-RAN Alliance. Okay. For Samsung and Nokia, they are already providing an Open RAN elements, or if a network would like to have an Open RAN solution coming from a major player, yan, Samsung and Nokia can provide them. Okay. So these are the players with the most contracts, okay, based in Open RAN. We have the Parallel Wireless. Okay, sila yung may pinakamaraming deployments na. Then next is Ultrastar, Intel, Mavenir, Icatera, and so on and so forth.